Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast, where we interview everyone from James Beard award-winning chefs to local mixologists, winemakers, breweries, and so much more. We've got an awesome episode lined up for you today. But before we get into that, head to atasteofaz.com so you can subscribe to our quarterly magazine and email newsletter to find all of the best places to eat and drink around town. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Now let's get into the episode.
All right, well, we're rolling, guys.
Sweet.
We are rolling. I'm here with a couple poor bastards. You guys got some cool shit going on, so I'm pretty excited to talk about it.
Hell yeah! Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at Pretty Penny. This is this the newest poor bastard spot?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, opened January of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think end of January, middle of January, something like that.
Nice.
For like 6 months.
Well, thanks for having us in, man.
Yeah,
it's a
of
beautiful
course.
space. So introduce yourselves and what is your? Let's start with you, Sam. What is your role here at with Poor Bastards?
Sam, pretty much, I guess you'd say creative director.
Okay.
So anything design-wise, menu-wise, cocktails, the art, decor, things like that.
Yeah.
How things look, how things function.
Okay.
And then I think the creative direction forward of everything we want to do and implement.
Okay.
Like that, trying to just keep up with all the trends and seeing what's happening to try to be at the forefront of what we're doing everywhere.
Yeah. That's a lot of work, man. Well, especially when you have 5 brands?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. And all different.
Yeah,
like,
everything's different.
Yeah.
There's not really overlap with the style of concepts.
Yeah.
So it's constantly trying to figure out what works for that space, what works for that space.
Yeah.
The music, the ambiance, the vibes are all different everywhere.
Yeah.
So
does that help with your, like, for me, I can't focus on one thing for a whole long time. So like that appeals to me, is doing a bunch of different shit.
yeah,
Right?
it's good. It's
Yeah.
good, but it just always seems just like in a cycle.
Yeah.
Of like, all right, doing this one, then doing this one, then doing this one, then doing this one. Oh, now back to this one. And just never ending.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
always
Constant
changing.
evolution, yeah.
And
I'm Brenon.
Yeah.
I'm more of the operation side of stuff. So,
Okay.
Making sure that I work with all of our, distributors and supplies and HR, hiring, firing everybody.
Dang.
More of the day-to-day stuff,
Okay.
people, discipline, stuff like that.
How did you work yourself into the position, Sam, where you don't have to do that stuff?
I like doing this stuff.
I did that for so long.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I was like doing like GM and managing
Yeah.
other places and stuff. And
Yeah.
it was just to the point where I was like, all right, you want to do this? And I'll just focus on making sure everything looks cool.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great partnership. I mean, that's Luke and I. You guys haven't met Luke, my business partner, but complete opposites in so many ways. I mean, he's 28, I'm 45, so he's like my kid. But age-wise, but like maturity-wise, like I'm the kid, But he loves doing shit, like things that make my eyes just kind of gloss over, like budgets and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, right? So sounds like you like doing the stuff that but you don't like to do necessarily. Is that right?
More or less.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
More or less. I like the creative side too, obviously. But
He has a big hand in everything.
Yeah.
Sure. There's overlap.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
overlap.
absolutely. Yeah. But it's good to know kind of who does what, like, kind of date, I feel like this industry is very, it's whatever the opposite of reactionary is, right? You got to kind of plan ahead and you got to, work ahead of problems. And then obviously when problems come up, but then you guys just both deal with it. But anyways, where are you guys from? Like, are you originally from here, Sam?
Been in Phoenix.
Okay.
Pretty much, I don't know, for a long time now. Just
Okay.
working out here. I worked in Scottsdale for a while, a little bit in Mesa, Chandler.
Yeah.
But mostly Phoenix and mostly downtown for like
Okay.
the last, 6 years or something like that.
Okay.
Once we left Undertow and Barter and Shake group, then it was pretty much just downtown.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about before then? Like, where did you grow up?
Before, in Wisconsin, and then I was
Really?
here when
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then I was here when I was younger,
Yeah.
and then went back and forth for a while,
Yeah.
and then just never want to live in snow like that ever
Sure.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll deal with the heat. Shoveling roofs, shoveling sidewalks. I'm out.
It's
I'm
brutal.
out. Yep.
It's brutal. Yeah. My kids are, my daughters are 10 and 12 and they're like, oh, we hate it in Arizona. We want to live in, my wife's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Ohio. They're like, we don't want to live in Ohio. I'm like, that's a good choice. Go to Minnesota. But we're like, you have no idea what the reality of it is. Like you see the, the Hallmark movie version of winter, but
Visiting snow for 5 days is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, existing in it, is not.
Yeah.
Every day.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, especially when you're visiting and you don't have stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, when
Yeah.
it's, oh yeah, you have to go to work and it's snowed in. You're like,
Yeah.
this sucks. So
Your 20
terrible.
minute commute is now 45 minutes, and
yeah, windows breaking, door handles freezing.
Yeah.
I'm good.
yeah.
Don't have to. I'll sweat here.
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. And you will.
Yeah.
You will. Like you're not avoiding that. You're
Yeah.
gonna sweat at some point. So did you have like a path? Like did you kind of always want to be in this industry, or did you have like a path that you wanted to go down?
I don't not necessarily. Just started dishwashing.
Okay.
Yeah, started dishwashing and then ended up bar backing places, doing security, ended up bartending, and then bartending through like neighborhood dive beer spots, or then at the strip clubs, and finally getting into cocktail bars.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was like, oh, you can actually do cool stuff here, and then learning more, like to be creative.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is fun. And I get to, be out late. I did strength conditioning coaching for quite a while. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
But then just doing the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. training like that all the time, I was like, I just still want to do that. I was like, it's way more fun to be out, till 2 a.m.
To stay up.
Now
until
it's
5 a.m.
almost going backwards where
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want 9 p.m. I'm going to bed. But yeah, when I was 21, 22,
Yeah.
that was way more fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so what about you, Brenon? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yes, I've been
Nice.
here forever.
Yeah.
Kind of grew up around the industry. My parents met at a cafe that they worked at together. So
Okay.
kind
Nice.
of been there forever.
Yeah.
But my dad, industry guy. So I kind of grew up with that influence, and then went to school for design actually, and have just been, bussing tables and stuff through all of that. Starting in fine dining mostly, and worked my way up kind of into management, and then was like, well, I've never gotten into the bar side of stuff.
Yeah.
So, heavy wine background and stuff like that. And then, obviously cocktails just kind of became like a good outlet. Obviously creative side, wines, how much do you know?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
this
the
is
point.
like a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
Definitely creative outlet. And then Sam and I met working at Undertow.
Oh, so that's where you guys met initially. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just kind of taking off from there. So
Nice. Now, at the current location, Undertow, or
No,
when it was underneath
the
SIP?
original.
the OG.
Okay.
When it was, underneath
Yeah.
SIP in the ground,
Yeah,
in
the
the
ground.
basement.
in the
The
what is that?
black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like an oil change pit or something, wasn't it?
was something like an old Jiffy Lube.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a really cool spot. Like that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite buildings in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a cool spot.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very unique. Well repurposed.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So how did you end up at Undertow? Like how did that happen?
Ooh, Libby hired me when
Talking about Libby from Highball?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
Libby,
Yeah, she was the GM at the time.
before Undertow. Libby was exiting the Canby Hotel when
Okay.
it turned over from Ritz Carlton to Canby
Okay.
and everything, and so I was applying there to work in their cocktail bar, and so that's where we met. She did the interview process and everything. And I got hired there as she was leaving.
Okay.
And then later, after working at a few more places, I found out, Undertow is hiring. And I'd been there a couple of times. And so I was like, oh, cool. I'll go apply.
Yeah.
And then Libby said, yeah, put your application in. Jay was out of town for a while. And then it took a couple of weeks. He finally got back, interviewed with Asher and Rich. And then like a week later, they called me and hired me to be the bar manager of Counterintuitive, their
Okay.
other bar in
that's right. I
Scottsdale.
remember
Yeah.
that
So
one.
not even
Yeah.
Undertow.
Yeah.
I staged at Undertow one night, and then they hired me to manage the other spot,
Okay.
and then showed up there. And then I think my first night there was just a Friday night with a spec sheet, and they're like, all right, here you go in the well. Go.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they did. That's the same thing with Undertow then. Well, then
Yeah.
from there was a girl that worked at so I worked Friday, Saturday, Counterintuitive. Then there was a girl at Undertow leaving her Sunday, Monday spot, which he worked with.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just told him, I was like, well, I'll take the other 2 days. And I said, okay. So then they just put me Sunday first shift with him, just us. I had never, besides my one stage that I was there for an hour, I had never worked in the bar.
Yeah.
So they just gave me spec sheets again. And that's a way crazier menu. And they're
That
just
was
like,
a
all right,
pretty
here you
intense
go,
menu.
start.
So what is stage?
I had no training period, no nothing. It just popped me right over. It was like,
You can handle
they were
it.
like,
You
figure
can
it out.
Yeah.
There are worse people I could think of having to do that with. So it wasn't a terrible shift.
I remember it was,
Yeah.
I remember the first
Could have
shift.
been way worse.
I remember at the end when we looked and we were like, I asked him, I was like, oh, we did like 3,000 or 4,000. I think we made like $4,000. And I told him, I was like, I feel like you did at least 3 of that $4,000.
You're just looking at your sheet the
Yeah,
whole
I'm
time.
just like,
shit,
this is all I can keep up with.
So you said stage. What is stage?
Basically like a working shift to see if you like the place and if you know what you're doing, and then they kind of see it's just practical.
Okay.
Right? Like you can tell somebody you can bartend, but it's just easy. It's like working in a kitchen, right? They're like, here, go on the line. Can you cook?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. It's like, here's a spec sheet. Here's a bar. Can you bartend?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then it weeds people out very fast.
Yeah.
Of whether or not in your interview you were just blowing smoke or if you actually know what you're doing.
Like, you know all the words. And like you said with wine, like I know all this information, but like, can you put it into action?
Right.
Yeah. So they just threw you right into it. And, and he did good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Or I might have just been the only body there. I have no idea.
Yeah. Whatever it was, it worked out. Yeah. Yeah. So you were already there when?
Yeah, I had been there for, I don't know how long I'd been there when you started there, but I worked for them for, I think 3.5 years maybe.
Okay.
But I had been working at Crudo prior.
Okay.
Rest in peace. That was one of my favorite spots. I joined the Crudo team after leaving Eddie V's when they were expanding.
Okay.
So I originally opened Okra with them, which is like their southern kind of Italian spot.
Yeah.
And I was AGM over there, and then kind of fell into bartending, and then kind of ended up leaving Okra to go work full time at Crudo, and then was bartending there. And then Jason and Rich like sat in my well 2 nights in a row, and then called me the next day. They're like, "Hey, we need somebody to work Sundays. Do you want to come work Sundays?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I mean, sure."
Yeah.
And then eventually ended up leaving Crudo as that kind of faded out, I guess, and then just worked at Undertow full time. So
gotcha.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice. And so where does it go from there then, right? You guys work together. Did you guys hit it off right away, or were you just like, this guy's a dick, or all he does is read a spec sheet all night?
I think the first time I met you actually was at a sherry tasting. And I was like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, he's the new bar manager for CI." And I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then after working with him, I was like, "Oh, okay, sick." You know, like we similar ideas, similar like we like a lot of the same things, but we have a very different approach.
Okay.
Obviously, very different, backgrounds and everything like that too. So it's nice to have two very different, baselines working towards the similar goals.
For sure.
We like the same kind of food, have the same idea of like what is good, I guess.
Yeah. But then that different mindset, I like that too.
Yeah.
That's how Luke and I are. It's like on the values level, like we're aligned, and on those core things, but completely different perspectives and outlooks and approaches on stuff. So like just like work stuff or like personal stuff too that you guys just like. Did you guys because I think you guys are both into jiu-jitsu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He actually kind of got me into jiu-jitsu. I did wrestling, but he had been doing it for years. He's like, "You should try it." And I'm like, "This is dope."
Yeah.
So I've been training for 2 years now, maybe 2.5 years.
Yeah, because he wrestled in high school. So I told him, I was like, "Oh, you'll pick it up."
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Then I was like, just hop back into it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
It's a good outlet for sure.
Yeah.
I think we just started basically just throwing ideas around.
Because would it be cool to do this?
Yeah,
it was a lot of that.
I remember the first idea we had was Hatchet House, which was this was before there was any axe throwing bars in Arizona.
So this is actually the business name was Hatchet House.
Hatchet House was the idea. It was like we could do like an axe throwing bar, but that's also like a cocktail lounge where you could oversee and watch it and things like that, and just had ideas like that, and then. I remember it was at the same time where Jay and Rich were opening up Pobrecito over when it used to be over at the Churchill.
Okay.
And so they also had other concepts they were looking to open, and we would go around with them, checking out different buildings, things like that, traveling around and seeing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so then we got more into like looking at spaces and seeing this and like what could we do here, and then it just kind of culminated more and more and more. We ended up doing an ice company.
Yeah, doing those like clear cubes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Got a warehouse.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of ice, all that. Had a bunch of accounts. And then
like the branded cubes and stuff like that.
All the big ones.
Yeah.
But then we were getting too big to the point where it was like, okay, we're gonna have to hire many more people.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to deal with anybody cutting their hands off on the saws. I just
saw insurance aside, it's like I don't want to get a call from John that he cut his hand off. It's like,
so
we're done.
It was like, and that was like a week after we saw the dude in Southern California that cut all of his fingers off doing that.
Doing ice?
Yeah. One of the dudes that owns a company like that.
Dang.
All of them. And I was like, I'm good.
More. Not worth the risk.
I was like, we'll do something else. And so then we started shopping around for places to do a concept.
So you guys were both, you guys kind of knew that you would want to be partners, be business partners. Yeah.
I think it was good. It was good to find out, like, all right, he's not an idiot and he works hard. Yeah. Well, like he's not an idiot. Right? He works hard, and we have similar ideas of the direction we want to go.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool. That's it.
So when was it approximately? Like what year do you think it was when you guys started looking?
2019, maybe.
Yeah, I think probably beginning of 2019.
Early 2019.
Yeah.
So we signed a lease at Killer, like June or July of 2019? I think
so.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably shopping for like 6 months of buildings.
Something like that. So
did you know you wanted to be around here, like around downtown?
Not necessarily. We were picking either probably this Roosevelt area or Arcadia area.
Yeah, we looked at a few spots in Arcadia.
Yeah.
It was Killer was the first place that we walked into. We're like, oh, okay, this could be really dope.
Yeah.
We had ideas for other places and stuff, but at least for me, that was the first time where I like wanted to be in that space.
Yeah.
Everything else was just kind of like,
this would
could
work
do
here.
something.
Yeah.
And there were like a little like strip mall thing where it's like, oh, this is a spot here. That was the first one that was its own identity, and own feeling and solo. There was nothing attached to it.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it was like, it's gonna be a project, but it was like, this is the house. And especially, I mean, the position, the corner, where it is. It was first mover on this side of the road.
Okay.
On this, like east of First Street. Really, there wasn't much.
Okay.
As far as cocktail bars or anything
there weren't
like
any
that.
Cocktail bars really downtown before Killer Whale.
Besides like deep downtown. Right?
Yeah,
like Bitter and Twisted,
on Roosevelt,
on
I should say.
Yeah. And I mean, what a great, like, I mean, the walkability, right? Because I think that's sometimes the drawback of Phoenix is there's not a lot of walkable places, right? Like that's why I love downtown Tucson. That's why I love Flagstaff. You can park and you go to shitload of places like downtown Mesa.
Yeah.
But other than that, like Arcadia is great, but there's not a lot of places that you could just park and hit up a shit ton of places.
That was, I think, one reason. Like we wanted Arcadia because we knew the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Knew the neighborhood being there, but it was also same thing where it's like almost destination spot because you can't, even if you're in the like the Dilly Dally area, to get to Little Woody's is like just a little too far to walk. To get to the bar is just
you have to plan on going where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas downtown, you kind of, I mean, everyone just ends up somewhere.
Yeah.
And then here, I mean, I saw like what ASU was doing, buying all these buildings and putting more stuff. I knew they were investing like into the campuses down here. And so 5 years ago, we were like, cool, I think we're going to bet on this road because I think this road's going to explode. And sure enough, it's just been new business, and just getting busier and busier.
For sure.
And all the new apartments and
And we got in when it was 5 times cheaper to rent. So
that helps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I wonder, right? Because when we stopped in, we saw you guys a couple of weeks ago, and all of your spots are right in this area. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, that's a lot. That rent check must be, because this is prime. This is prime real estate, right?
It's not zero.
Not cheap by any means.
But so Killer Whale Sex Club was the first.
Yep.
That was which the name. I mean, dude, the name. I think the first time I saw it was Justin Cross. Mutual friend of ours.
Oh, yeah.
Justin's awesome, and he was at a place. I'm like, Killer Whale Sex Club. What the fuck is that? Like, that's awesome. And it just blew me away. And then it just looked like a cool spot. So where, like, did you have, like, so when you're looking for a spot, did you guys have, like, all right, it's gonna be called Killer Whale Sex Club?
We had a different name.
We had a very different concept.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
Name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, different name, different concept. But then the more and more we were down here and like making it, getting the build out, going over what we were doing, knocking down walls, doing stuff, we're like, I think we want to do something more fun, more lively, because there was enough like sit down cocktail bars everywhere, things like that.
Yeah.
We just said, what if we just crank it up as hard as we can go?
Yeah.
And make every single person not really know what's gonna happen. That's it.
I love
like
that.
coming from like counterintuitive and things like this, like these cocktail bars and
before.
fine dining.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
we were like
10 years.
Yeah, I was like, you know what I haven't seen? I was like, I haven't seen a cocktail bar serving good drinks like this, natty wine list, and then also have 18-inch subwoofers in the place where it rattled like a house party. Like that's what I wanted. Was, I mean, both of us, where if I wanted a good drink, I couldn't really go have a lively, upbeat Friday night. And
Okay.
if I wanted a what do you say, like a fun night, I couldn't really go have a great drink. Like there wasn't as many places that were lively doing quality stuff.
Yeah, like all of our places to drink at the time were more like date night spots where
Okay.
it's like, oh,
Sure.
chill, you know, sit at the bar, sit at the table and like relax and have a nice cocktail, whatever. Or, you know, our favorite dives are like a blast, great hospitality, super fun, drinking gin and tonics or, you know, so it's like, where's the middle ground?
Sure.
I was like, why can't I go drink wine that I want to drink and listen to ASAP Ferg? That's literally, I was like, I don't understand.
That was the
why
whole premise
I was like,
behind it.
yeah,
I
why
love that.
nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
Some places will play like, you know, like 90s hip hop, like things like that, but in a more like quieter, lounger environment. But still, I was like, no, I want it to bang and be too loud. And I was like, we're going to deal with the complaints about people being like, it's too loud, I can't talk.
Regardless
or,
of, right?
Can't do this. And I was like, that's fine. Then you don't have to come.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're throwing a party and you're all invited.
Yeah.
And then like if you ever went to a house party and you didn't like it, you just left.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a drink, say hi, and that's it.
Yeah. You didn't find the owner of the house like, dude, we need to turn the music down.
You're like, you're not, there's plenty of other places to find exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Like this is a specific thing.
Yeah.
So if you want that specific thing, we're here for you.
Yeah.
If you don't, we'll point you to every other place that might be better for your night.
Sure. Yeah.
And that is the great thing about downtown too, is because, you know, there's so many small players down here too, doing their thing, that it's nice to get obviously the overlap. You know, we all great community down here, but also, if you're looking for that environment, we'll send you to our buddies down the street, you know, and it's not like we miss out, you know?
Sure.
And like Killer, like, I get it. Like, I can't be a killer every single day.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of times where I just want to chill. So,
Sure.
it's like, that's why other things exist.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the intention. I was like, cool. If you want, I was like, I hadn't heard Suicide Boys in a cocktail bar. I was like, this is what we're going to do. And I remember even just like the first 6 months open, the amount of people that were like, is this playing in here? They're like, I've never heard this anywhere. I didn't know this. Like, it was like an idea. Like,
I didn't know
people
you could do
thought
that.
it wasn't allowed or something.
There's a lot of
The health
that.
department approved this. Like, what the hell?
And now I see a lot, not saying like we started any sort of trend, but now I see a lot more bars playing music people actually like and not just sticking to 1920s swing because you should when you serve whiskey. Like that's, I feel like we're moving to a point now where it's like, we can have fun stuff.
Yeah.
too.
Well, I think we're getting to a point too where people aren't trying to please everybody. I mean, obviously there are, but folks like you guys are like this is what we want to do. This is what we're, you know, with our magazine, you know, we've had people say, hey, have you guys thought about doing like a college section with like cheaper things? And I'm like, no, because that's not our demographic, right? Like we can't be everything to everybody, you know. But you guys did it. And it's fucking killing it, you know? So
I mean, we knew setting out, we knew it was going to be polarizing. Yeah. And you're either going to love it or hate it. And if we elicit some sort of strong emotion out of you, then we did something correctly. For sure. To feel something like that, that's fine. And we knew, half of you might not like it, half of you might love it. But we don't need everybody to like it or love it.
Right.
Like,
at the end of the day, there's 50 seats. So like as long as those are full.
The thing like that, the bar may not be for you, and we also might not want to hang out with you either. So maybe it's best we don't chill. Like that
is another benefit of doing it the way that you want to do it, right? Like you attract the people that are interested in that type of stuff. Like
even the name is like a good barrier for entry. Yeah. Where if you're turned off by the name, then you're probably not going to like it inside at all. We knew if the name is like, you're not going to like the interior. You're not going to like what it sounds like. You're not going to like any of this. So it saves everybody from a news article coming out saying, oh, you know, when we open, like, oh, this is a new thing. Go check it. It was like, that was a good barrier where we automatically didn't get a demographic that probably wouldn't enjoy it inside. Sure. Not saying that we wouldn't like them there. Yeah. Just it's like, it might save you from wasting your time and you being upset and wasting your night and your money. Yeah. It's like, know what you're getting into. Yeah. And if you're about it, then cool, we're here.
For sure.
I was thinking about my grandmas. One of them loves it. Yeah. The other one's like, I don't know if I can go there. It's like, you're probably right, Grandma. Like, the other one was at our opening. She was like, this is great. I'm like,
awesome.
you know.
Yeah.
Because it's very like, I mean, if you called it the green room or something, right? Like, well, cool, let's go check out the green room. Then like, what the fuck is going on in here? Like, you set that expectation right from the beginning.
And then even just obviously being, when we open, being new, being, coming from Barter and Shake, but not really having any sort of name or acclaim or doing anything. It was just like, if you're going to list 20 new restaurants and bars that opened and you're reading down a list, you're definitely going to stop at that name and Google more.
For sure.
You're going to go, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's catchy. People are going to talk about it. You're going to see the name and wonder. And whether you call it Killer Whale Sex Club, or the Sex Club, or KWSC, it all sounds good.
Sure.
Right. There wasn't, the name we had before was just too like thoughtful, and we had to explain the meaning of it and everything.
Sure.
Then I was like, this is getting too dorky, too nerdy.
After like the 10th time of being like, oh, what does that mean? And we were both like, nobody cares what it means.
Sure. Yeah.
So
that's just like, I don't need like the amount of thought I think some people put into names being something so meaningful and good and creative and this, and then they don't spend the same amount of time choosing a playlist for their place.
Sure.
I'm like, all right, one I feel is far more important.
Yeah.
So we just picked a name, said, cool, done, and then moved on and spent 100% of our time making sure the execution was correct.
Sure. Yeah. I like that. Well, so how did the name, I mean, was it just like someone randomly threw out Killer Whale Sex Club, or?
Red Hot Chili Peppers, they have an album called Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Yep. And like, I'm like, I don't really know what that means, but it makes you feel a kind of way. Yeah. And then I don't remember there was another artist you were talking about.
My favorite animal is an orca, apex predator. And I was saying there's an Andre Nicotina song. He didn't know who Andre Nicotina was.
I did not.
But Andre Nicotina, there's a line where he says, I'm a Pisces, but I'd rather be a killer whale. And he's a Pisces, and I always make fun of him for it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we could do killer whale something.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. Somebody said it was just Killer Whale Sex Club, and done. That was it. Yeah. That was the last name we brought up. Last thing I said. That was it. Picked that one, drew a logo, and that was it.
Yeah.
We didn't draw a logo. We Googled how to draw an orca, and then
no, we drew.
That was the logo.
We had a different what do you call it? Like the X cross thing, the hospitality symbol thing.
Sure.
But for our
business cards,
our actual branding original business card, I Googled. I didn't Google how to draw an orca. I Googled worst orca whale drawing.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
and then there was a video of a kid, like a child, that drew a killer whale.
Yeah.
And it was so bad. But they're a child, but I screenshotted that and just took that picture of this kid's drawing of a whale.
Yeah.
And we used that for so long.
That's great.
We're going to bring it back.
Yeah. See, that's a good, that just kind of tells people like who you guys are, right? Like, you're not like, what is the coolest drawing of like, what is, you're like, what's the worst one? Like, what is the most, what's the worst drawing of an orca?
I mean, it was funny.
Yeah.
A lot of places will be too serious or unnecessarily serious and things like that. Or just like, we're just going to be as not serious as possible.
Yeah. And
basically, it's taking the piss out of the kind of cocktail bar thing when it got a little too like hoity-toity and buttoned up, and you're like, yo, guys, we're just getting people drunk with good flavors. Like, let's not forget that we're not really doing anything super crazy.
Yeah.
It's not super crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's cool and neat and creative and all that, but like let's party a bit.
The bottom line is still
fun.
So
I dig it. Well, let's take a quick break. Word from our sponsor.
A real quick reminder, head over to atasteofaz.com and subscribe to our email newsletter. Also, subscribe to A Taste of AZ magazine and get it shipped right to your door. Now let's get back into today's episode.
The taxes.
And now you know.
I was like, how neat.
Now I know too. Yeah. So I'll explain it differently then. Yeah. But all right, so we're back. And so Killer Whale Sex Club, when did the doors open?
Ooh, March 3rd or 4th?
Yeah, first week of March.
Okay.
2020.
2020. 2 weeks before the very first shutdown.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That was great.
You guys were stoked, like doors about to open, and
we went hard for the first
2
couple
weeks.
It was great. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey guys, everyone has to close. And we're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then it quickly pivoted. I mean, once they said close, I think in 24 hours we had all of our cocktails bottled up and batch with a
Online.
built a website,
Yeah.
everything,
shit,
went
nice.
and just sold everything
Yeah.
like that. And then he did cocktail deliveries.
Yeah, I drove around town. I have a Prius, you know,
Yeah.
the infamous
Yeah.
Prius. So
yeah.
just driving around literally all over town for a couple of months doing
Yeah.
cocktail deliveries. Some of our old regulars from Undertow and obviously some new people too. Obviously, very huge support early on.
Mhm.
A couple of people like, yeah, we'll take a case of whatever cocktails. Like, thank you. Please come back next week.
That's awesome.
But it was, it was good.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think the timing, if it was going to happen, that would have been the best time for it to happen.
Okay.
Because it was right after we opened. We didn't have really any staff. We had one guy working with us,
Yep.
our buddy Ryan.
Didn't have to let anybody go.
Yep.
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
And, we were still trying to figure out how to run a bar as like, new bar, our own thing for the first time. So it was just like a new challenge.
Sure.
It wasn't like, trying to do it after 10 years of doing something a certain way and be like, oh yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Like,
And
so,
it was also like a forced break to see how the first couple weeks went and then see like,
Yeah.
all right, well now we can fine tune anything that we have to.
Yeah.
Change things, move things, seating, all that, rearrange, try way more cocktail R&D and stuff. And we were just making new drinks all through summer too.
yeah.
Yep.
it
Doing
was
that.
good.
New menus with just to-go cocktails.
Yeah.
And then new ideas.
So was that like right from the get go? Were you guys able to do that, or was it so? At the time, we were mostly in kind of the beer world. So I know there was a lot of things that they had to like pass for people to be able to deliver beer
Mhm.
and all that stuff. Like, so were you guys able to do it just right from the start?
We have a Series 6
Okay.
license, so we
Yeah.
were able to sell to go.
Okay.
And then we were
Gotcha,
we
yeah.
were making sure like legally we could do deliveries and what we had to do for deliveries. So we had to like have everybody sign everything,
Yeah, ID
sign
check
sign all
stuff,
these
yeah.
things, fill
Okay.
all this paperwork out, save all this information of like addresses, where everything got dropped off, times, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then just did that. And then once one of our friends at Restaurant Progress, I know, mentioned something to I think maybe the mayor or someone at the time, got like a petition going to just make it like full bore cocktails for everybody, no
Okay.
matter what. And
Yeah.
that was luckily, I was like, cool, we were ahead of that. And then every restaurant, everything got the same thing.
Yeah.
And then, it was cool seeing how everybody else pivoted and moved and what they were doing
Sure.
and all that. And it was nice to have other people doing it too, because we were like, if somebody does want to say something, I was like, we don't want to be the only ones out
Yeah.
there what we're doing.
Well, I think there weren't really regulations for that, right?
Yeah.
So
It
everyone
was-
was trying to figure out what they could do, what they shouldn't do. And
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
were just like, well, let's just do it. And, the trend kind of became everywhere, which is good,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. You guys are trendsetters, man. Like,
Well,
across- yeah.
We're just trying to pay the bills. Pay the bills.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
that's-
everyone was thinking the same thing. I think,
Sure.
like, how do we keep selling stuff?
Yeah.
And the hardest is just pivoting from a bar, being like, we have an idea of what we're going to do. Now it's like, wait a minute, now we have to do this thing.
Now I'm a delivery
Yeah.
driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is different.
Because it seems like everything that you would think about would be like directly related to going into the place.
Right.
Right. Like
Yeah.
like you said, the subwoofers and the decor, like everything. Right. And
Yeah.
now they're like, okay, now imagine somebody can't see any of that shit
Yeah.
and it's just the cocktails.
Now the cocktails just
Yeah.
have to be good.
Yeah.
Well, I put a 40-inch sub in my Prius, and so I was playing ASAP Ferg when I was doing deliveries.
With the speakers on the outside like those. Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Everybody got to sit in
Paint
your
my
car.
black Prius like an orca. Like,
Oh my! I don't know why you
Dude,
have not done that.
Missed opportunity.
Why don't you get
First time I've thought
you
of it
have to
right
get
now.
An orca wrap, a little tail and a fin.
I'll do it. I'll get it done.
Dude.
Dude, you could drill a hole in the top, and so you
Put
could
a-
pump water out of it while you drive.
Could
you
just keep
imagine?
coming. That's why he's the
imagine?
creative director.
Just saying.
Well, I'm glad we got that on before
Yeah.
camera shut off. We got that. So you guys will soon be making deliveries in a subwoofer Prius,
Orca,
like an
orca
Yeah.
whale.
blowing water out of the roof.
Sick. I can't wait.
It's so good.
So you guys are delivering cocktails. Killer Whale Sex Club is like you guys are delivering cocktails, and then what? Like as things start to open back up.
I opened back up with a lot of restrictions.
Yeah,
obviously.
sure.
So we just followed the rules, and we took tables out, spaced everything, and just
We said there's 50, right? There's 50 seats.
Yep.
And that's probably a tight space.
Yeah.
So what did you go from 50 to what to hit those regulations?
I'd say maybe like 40, 35.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I feel
it
like
was
there
close
was
to
some,
40, I think.
I feel like
Okay.
there was some sort of like occupancy thing too that they limited, and so we just like they've come in like liquor board and health, like all through COVID and stuff, and like measure things and check to make sure everything's going. And we just would ask them just to make sure. We were like, we want to fall. It sucked because the amount of people we had to piss off by telling sorry you can't dance, sorry you can't roam around, sorry you can't do like we had to nerf it for so long, which was unfortunate.
Like
but
dance in your seats.
Yeah, it was like,
trust me,
like, we're not breaking.
Touching,
The amount of people. It was like we're not breaking these rules.
Yeah,
like, hey, you have to sit down. You have to do that.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't get kicked out, then they leave a 1-star. I'm like, all right.
We actually got a lawsuit filed against us for that.
Shit.
Somebody got mad that they couldn't dance and we kicked him out. I mean, it was more than that, but that was the premise.
Extremely egregious to the point where it was like, yo,
you guys, it's time to go, guys.
Okay. Like being ridiculous.
I've had to ask you to please sit down 7 times.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
but
sorry.
This is America.
I'm like, these are the rules. I was like, trust me, we want you guys to have a good time.
So that so many times.
Yeah. But
I want you to have fun.
Yeah. But so we just, followed every rule and did that because we're like, we toe the line with fun and being ridiculous and the name, everything we do, but it's like we follow every rule extremely hard.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're not gonna break any rules for you guys.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Rules and laws.
Still a business.
So
still trying to operate a business. Yeah.
You're not gonna let your business crumble just to let
just people have fun or do whatever they want.
Right.
Yeah. And then once restrictions went kind of like fully open too, we didn't really move away from like fully seated.
Okay.
Then it was like fully seated. And we're like, this is kind of nice having everybody just, in their own pockets and space.
Like a little bit more space.
Yeah. It was like, instead of just like a shoulder to shoulder thing out the front yard and all that, I was like, this is way nicer, more manageable.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to roll with this for a bit. Like, you can get up and walk around now.
Well, we also had the reopening requirements were for food venues, which we didn't have a kitchen at the time. So we ended up buying a food truck, and some of our buddies basically moved their business into our food truck, and we're doing like bao bun sandwiches and stuff inside Killer. Yeah. And so it kind of stayed a seated thing for a while, obviously with the food aspect as well. Yeah. So, a little different than what we were going for, but it ended up being great.
Yeah.
But now we're back to no food.
Yeah, no
so
food.
So Killer Whale has no food.
Yeah, now no food. No food, no mess, which is great. There's less vomit.
Yeah.
Without serving food.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
Let them throw up
Just
somewhere
late
else.
night. 1 a.m. burgers all over.
Yeah. Now it's just back to cocktails.
Yeah. Nice. So second place. What was the second place you guys opened up?
I guess.
Technically, it was Halfway Crooks.
Yeah, technically, it was this building that we're in.
Yeah, so we
were
at
the same time as Disco Dragon.
Okay. Yeah, we were working on Disco Dragon, building that out with FYPM, and then this became available, and Sam's like, "Yo, check this out." And so we kind of turned on this really quickly and opened up Halfway Crooks, which is very similar to Pretty Penny in terms of like the food cocktail thing. Okay.
This is what we originally wanted to do.
Yeah.
And just
like originally, even before Killer Whale.
After Killer. For this building itself.
Yeah, for this space.
Yeah. This is like what Pretty Penny is kind of the original intention.
Okay.
But we just took, when we opened Halfway Crooks, the chef went over to open Disco Dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, do we, hire more? Do we do this? What should we do? So then we were just like, we'll just change concept until one of our friends who currently cooks here now is who we were waiting for to kind of quit his job for years, when it was just like, hey, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Whenever you're ready.
Waiting patiently.
Our friend that's the hospitality manager here now, same thing. They work together, and I was like, whenever you're ready, if you ever want to leave. Yeah. It was never like, hey, leave. It was just, if you ever want to do something else, let us know. Yeah. Because we'll do this. And so in the meantime here, we just converted it to a tiki bar, and then we converted it to another cocktail bar, and then we were just basically firing off ideas and concepts and stuff just to do stuff. And
in this space, just like
just this one. Oh yeah, this just every different floor plan, every different decor, everything has been crazy amount of turnover of what we've done. And then when they were finally ready to be like, hey, I think we want to do something else, it's like, cool. Yeah. I was like, this is the timing, winner. I was like, let's do it. Break it down. 30 days. We closed and reopened and demoed the whole thing, redid it all. Demo as far as, like the decor stuff inside and like the little walls in here. We didn't have to really do anything to the building.
all the
big stuff,
the bones are there,
but it was just ripping down 100% of what it looked like, and to give it a new facelift, and then to put like all the induction there so they could cook, and the floor plan, and new prep room and stuff, and then brought them over, and we've been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
As Pretty Penny.
Yep.
Yeah. And who are the two, the GM? Because in our new issue of Taste of AZ, we highlight this place, and it's the chef and
Yep. So you'll see Marcelino in there.
Yeah.
Chef Marcelino. And then Ivan Herrera is going to be the GM, Director of Hospitality.
Okay.
Basically.
He hates that title, but he's a GM. He's like, I'm not a GM. Like, you're the GM.
Director of Hospitality.
Whatever,
That's what he does.
He runs the front of house.
Poor bastards, or just Pretty Penny.
Here mostly for now, but he's getting the systems in place to also do that for every single spot.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
We're just getting this one really fine tuned, and then he'll have more time to go branch off and do more things at each location.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's 3 physical locations then, right?
Yep.
4 concepts.
Yep.
Right. So inside Disco Dragon is Fuck You Pay Me.
Yep.
Right. Which is a great name because I was looking at it and it was like, what is it? Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
FYP.
Yeah. But, and I'm like, what does that mean? And I looked, I'm like, fuck you, baby. That's fucking great. Also, I'm really intrigued of like how you got the font upside down in Instagram.
Oh, you like that, don't you?
I don't know. How do you,
I've never seen anybody else do that.
You don't have to give out your secret. But I think that's pretty cool.
I've never seen anybody else do that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Instagram might hit me if it says "fuck you, pay me" right there.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to ruin my algorithm. I don't know what if there's anything to it. And I was like, I wonder if I can put the font upside down. And so then I figured out how to put the font upside down. And I was like, that's great.
Same trick in the robots, man. I
have not seen anyone do that. That's neat. So,
dude, when the robots take over, I'm coming to see you, man. You know how to counter that. But so when did Disco Dragon open?
Oh man,
May of 22.
Yes.
Okay.
Something right there. Yep.
Now that's not the spot. That wasn't where. Was that where barbecue place?
No,
was?
that's
next door.
That's
so full speed is
okay.
That was just empty for a long time.
Okay.
As long as I've been downtown, the middle of that building's been empty. Taco Cello was always there.
Okay.
Like there used to be like a little shop on the east end here.
Was that a barber shop now?
Between the barber and Full Speed, there was a store. That unit there was a little store.
Okay.
Yeah, the other barbecue place expanded into it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
Trap House. That's what it was.
Yep.
Trap House. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I always thought that was an interesting name.
Yeah.
I've met Phil and done podcasts with him, and it's like, dude, Trap. That's just so funny.
I liked it. Phil's a cool dude.
Phil's awesome. Yeah. What is he doing now?
Like I don't know.
And he was doing a podcast. He was he's a competition guy. So I think he's.
I feel like he's doing the competitions and stuff.
He was a cool dude. Always running into him down here.
Yeah,
they were fun.
But what a great spot too! Full Speed for Scott and from Little Miss Barbecue. I haven't ate there yet. I'm sure you guys.
We were excited to have.
I eat there too many times probably. Well, it's like tacos are chicken sandwiches, but they do a good job for sure.
Fried chicken, right? Isn't it fried chicken?
Yeah, fried chicken and ribs, and they do pulled pork and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Definitely do a good job.
So there's that location where Disco Dragon is. It was just kind of vacant.
Yeah, it was just empty.
Yeah.
Yep. So we went in. Built a kitchen, built the dual concept so we get one half open. We knew what we wanted to do. And then FYPM was way more like detail oriented. So that just took longer of what we wanted to do there. Right. A little juxtaposing kind of spaces where one's a little more casual, upbeat. Right. And then the more food focused. And then the other side is food, but more cocktail focused, loungier, low, the pink glass, just a cooler, like sexier date night. Kind of feel,
which is Fuck You Pay Me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what is Disco Dragon? That's
just like a modern izakaya. So a bunch of food, and then small draft menu and bunch of beers.
Yeah, a bunch of beers, sake, soju.
Okay.
So more, like an everyday, casual late
not
night.
Cocktail focused.
Not necessarily focused. We have cocktails there.
Sure.
It's just not the main focus.
It's a cool draft program. So we have, everything's on draft there and stuff like that, which is cool, but it's definitely more about the food.
Okay. Nice.
Way more approachable on like all cylinders, I would say, than just cocktails,
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
And then FYPM is 25 cocktails, very in depth. Every single thing has a different glass, different garnish. It's all completely unique. Way more thought into that.
Okay.
Like it's all based, like this current menu is all based on the 5 senses. So it's broken up and
nice.
sight, touch, taste, whatever.
Yeah.
And then broken out even further into that to try to make the things in the drinks represent that and whatnot. That was our way more like kind of aesthetically pleasing spot we wanted. We knew that was going to be like the Instagram one where everyone's going to take a picture of stuff, take a picture inside. Killer, you can't take a picture of anything. It's pitch black.
Oh, really?
Pretty much. So it's like
very dark.
Yeah.
Very dark.
Yeah.
This one is, we're going to make it really pretty.
Yeah.
Really pretty, make it look cool. You're going to want to take a photo. You're going to want to, do in there, take pictures of yourself. The mirrors on the ceilings above the booths are cool.
Nice.
And so very more artistically driven,
Okay.
even with just like the video screen that goes on and plays throughout the entire night, things like that. Just more focus on art and all aspects of art.
Okay.
Yeah,
in
definitely
there.
like a sensory experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. The next
Dig
menu
that.
coming out, I think, is going to be kind of like a Dragon Ball Z cocktail menu we're working on,
Okay.
making our own like manga in there.
Yeah.
And doing the cocktails spread out
Nice.
throughout that. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, because your guys' menus are very unique too.
Mhm.
Like it's like seeing your menus and there's a lot of education that kind of goes in, and it's not just flip it open and here's our list of cocktails,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which it takes a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Oh
right?
yeah. It's not. Yeah, that's hard. That's that's the longest. And then we'll make full menus. We have like 3 menus now that we built that we're probably not even going to use.
Okay.
That are just full. I made a whole
Yeah.
play.
Yeah,
one's
he
an
wrote an
entire
entire
5-act play.
It's wild.
Really?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
involves like all the bars around here
Yeah.
have like characters and houses, kind of like Game of Thrones style
Interesting.
in there and everything.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Hopefully we use it somewhere
Yeah,
at some
we
point.
might.
But
Yeah, we might
it's-
use it somewhere.
It's a cool menu.
We're just like, it's like I want to do like Dragon Ball Z right now.
Yeah.
Just thought about that. I just like the idea of doing an orange menu
Okay.
like that. I was like, that'll look really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to try to get little stars into spherical ice too for
Yeah.
Dragon Balls. I was like, this could just be really fun.
Yeah.
And then play off of the Asian kitchen too, you
Sure.
know, so
Yeah.
it all feels
Cohesive.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So is Fuck You Pay Me? Is it a speakeasy per se, or is it just broken up? The space is broken up into 2 concepts.
It it just happens to be through another building.
Okay.
Right.
Sure.
And like you can see, we don't really have signs anywhere because they're just so expensive. So I'm like, even Killer Whale didn't have a sign.
Okay.
And not because we were trying to be hidden, just because
Yeah.
the sign is like $10,000.
Yeah.
So we're like,
it was
nah,
like
we're good.
look for the big pink house.
Yeah,
it's
Like,
like,
I
we'll
don't know
paint
what
the
to tell you.
house.
Yeah.
The others, this same thing over there. It's like, sign's so expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, well, so you can find it on Google and Instagram. We're not trying to be hidden.
Yeah, and
Sure.
then we still have the
Sure.
signs on the door and
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like some hidden passageway.
It just
stuff.
happens to be through another door.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not like it's not hidden and you don't go through a refrigerator
Yeah.
or something like that. It's literally just another door
Yeah.
that we open.
Okay.
Well,
So-
part of that too, we were originally going to have the entrance be through the back door where the exit is now. And then it was like, well, then we had to have like 2 hostesses, one on each, or
sure.
hosts, one on each door to run
Yeah.
the space and everything. It's like we could just do it all through one space.
Yep.
And then, you know, you have one person controlling the flow of traffic and everything. So
Yeah.
it just made more sense operationally.
Mhm.
You know, so it just
That's
ended up being that way. So
when those are the things that you think about, right? I was talking to somebody that owns a speakeasy, and he's like, in theory, it's cool. He's like, but no one fucking knows about it. Like, that's kind of that's the idea behind a real speakeasy,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, all right, well, you got to market it. You got to
Yeah.
let people
Right.
know that it's there. It's it's cool if you can get people to go, but
it's definitely like a trendy name, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anytime people ask me that if I'm running the door, or whatever, I'm like, no, please tell everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Tell all your friends we're here. Like, I don't know.
It's
Don't
like,
speak
we're not,
easy
we're
about
not
it. I don't
trying
know
to,
what to
we're not trying to be a speakeasy
Right.
of any sorts.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just and you wonder, like, Scott, how much did you pay for that sign? Right, that's a big sign, the full speed, because that's the kind of shit you did that I think that people just don't think about. Is like all that shit costs money,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
It's
and
like-
time too. I mean, you need
Yeah.
to go through the architects, get it all approved. Do like it's
Sure.
just a,
It's like it'd be cool. I'm not opposed to it, but it's
Yeah.
I can also think of better ways to spend $10,000 to $20,000.
yeah.
I'd
Exactly.
rather not. Yeah, like I would rather buy $10,000 of cool glassware
For sure.
or $10,000 of equipment.
Plates,
Or
equipment.
something.
equipment.
Yeah.
Marketing or
Yeah,
something, right?
I
To
mean,
get
I'll
more
draw
people in the doors,
Yeah.
whatever.
I'll write the
yeah.
name on a piece of paper and put it on the window if I have to. Like that.
Exactly. Google worst picture of a sign and then
Yes.
use that one. Yeah. Go to where the Orca Prius is. And
Yes, just
that's
park
what
the
go-
Orca Prius out front.
There we go.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like what was that? Truly Nolan. Their shit looks like a mouse. Like it's
Yes.
I mean, it's,
yeah.
that's good marketing.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. So Pretty Penny. Like,
Yep.
so how long's this? I mean, I know it was a different concept
I
before.
would say Pretty
but-
Penny.
yeah.
This is 6 months.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
We're right about to be 6 months.
Marcelino
And John. Marcelino and Ivan.
Ivan.
Yep.
So when they jumped on board, that's when it was like, all right, let's put this
Yep.
in together.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. We fired it off. Did it. They R&D their whole menus, everything, and just started executing.
Yeah.
And now they've just been crushing it, cooking my favorite food downtown.
What do they make? Like, what is, because I mean, you see the caviar at cost. You were talking about the duck.
He was doing the duck al pastor.
Yeah, that's on the menu right now. It's really
that's
good.
currently on the menu. It's just, we wanted internationally inspired small plates.
Okay.
With a focus on high quality seafood.
Okay.
And so it's not a sushi bar or anything like that. It's not just crudos. It's cool. Can we get some exotic fish in and do this? Yeah. Can we get good octopus? Can we get good scallops? And like doing that and just rotating it as much as we can. We'll do a pasta feature. We just didn't want to be limited to really one box.
Okay.
Just the whole idea, the tagline's in taste we trust.
Okay.
So the thing is like, we're like, cool, we're going to trust in our taste in music and art and lighting and decor and food and drinks and wine. And so that is just, we'll do a mixture of everything. It's like, there's no reason we can't just cook cool food.
Yeah.
And just, I was like, yeah, we're not pigeonholed to one specific thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
working with Mars, I've never worked with a chef who is so like fluid in his ability to just transition to whatever he feels like doing in the moment, which is really, really unique. A lot of chefs are very like, this is it and this is how it is and we're going to do this until we die. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to do whatever. It's like, I want to try this. It's like, that sounds great. Let's try it. And he'll whip it up and like that night it's on the menu. And so it's cool. Yeah. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
Coming in and he's just making something. He'll just go through the fridges and be like, what do we have? We have enough of this. And he's like, cool, I'm going to put this dish together.
He's like, you guys cool if we bring some lobsters in? We're like, all right. Yeah. And then it's like the next day we've got lobsters on the menu.
Yeah,
like,
lobsters, grilled lobsters with harissa butter, things like that. Everything is just like, I found these at the store and then I want to try this thing. And he's like, new dish tonight. He's like, his friend that we get pasta from. He's like, we got some of this sample pasta. So he was like, I'm going to make, they just made cacio pepe for a few days just because we had extra pasta. So they're like, we'll do that. Great. Yeah. And then, everything will be, new idea. And that's what he likes. He's just constantly creating, changing the menus, changing the food all the time. Just because he's like, I just want to learn more and do more and try more. He's like, so I'm just going to just keep making food. He's like, the only thing is the quality is going to be the same.
That's the one thing.
The consistencies in the quality of product, the food being put out is like having the trust of like, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, in my background, fine dining, all my regulars, they'd come back every week and it's like, cool, they're going to get the same bottle of the ZD Pinot. They want to open an hour before service and the same steak. And like, that's why they come back.
Yeah.
And this is like, you can come back for the same quality. What this, like how he's going to approach what he's doing.
Sure.
And if you're adventurous and you like cool stuff, then you're going to come here for that versus just getting the same burger you love on a Tuesday, Yeah.
It's like those.
Nothing wrong with that. It's just this is a very different, I think, approach, and it's really cool to see what he's doing and everything. So
I think stylistically, the food he's putting out is far different than a lot of stuff happening downtown.
Okay,
right? There's a lot of good food downtown.
Sure,
but I think him just creatively, it's very unique. The flavors he pulls from, the styles he does, it's very unique to him and where he's been. I mean, that dude's traveled all over the world.
Okay,
staged in so many kitchens. He went to the Yucatan just to learn how to make like cochinita pibil from them in the villages there. Like went to Spain, like just to learn from them in Barcelona how to do like pigs correctly, paella. Like they would go to London here and then go over here. He would just travel around cooking in all these different kitchens all over the world to really understand how they cooked it there.
Yeah,
like going to Mexico City, going down here and being like, oh, this is how they do it. So I'm gonna do that here now. The correct techniques, proper methods, proper flavors. Experiencing it there versus just reading through it in a book or somebody here teaching it to you.
Yeah.
Even on the menu now too. I mean, there's stuff from there's definitely some Spanish influence stuff. There's some Southeast Asian influence stuff. Like Thai, and still somehow it's like still very cohesive because he's touching all of it. So it's cool. It's really cool.
Well, what a great setup for him too, right? Like a great chef that that his hands aren't tied.
Yep.
Like shit, man, I know all this stuff, and it sounds like he just loves food, and I mean, chefs love food, right? But to be able to really explore that, and and to mix it up, and then I'm sure for food cost it helps too, right? Because he's like, hey, here's what we have, not like, hey, we got a fridge full of stuff, but I need this.
Yeah, it's nice to be like, cool. Hey, what can we make with the rest of this stuff here?
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, we're done with that. Now we'll pull in a new animal,
Sure.
a new animal, and then now we'll do this.
And he likes to use all of everything, which is awesome.
He likes to get. I mean, even like when we were doing goat, like we did like a Mexico City brunch there. Okay. Ivan, his family's all from Mexico City. His mom lives in Oaxaca with like a village of 350 people, or something. And like they have all of that rich cultural history, and he's like, I want to do this. And so we just did literally in a couple of days. We're like, let's just do a whole brunch. I've bought a goat with them before. Go buy a goat, they kill it, butcher it, everything, use every part of the animal, like cook the entire thing. It's like super cool. He likes doing that with all of them. Like he only wants to get whole fish in. He only wants to get whole animals in. And just break the entire thing down. Use every single thing. Cook the whole thing.
There's the heads, the bones. Like there's so much flavor that people are afraid to dive into.
And we're just like, even like doing the barbacoa, like with the goat. I was just like, oh, well, I'm gonna eat its eyes so they don't go to waste. And just fucking just eat the eyeball out of its skull in the fucking pot. It's delicious.
I would eat that shit for sure. Yeah, you have the right person making it, dude. I'll eat anything.
So it's like, we're not gonna. If this animal had to die, we're not gonna waste any part of it. Like, we're gonna eat the whole thing
for sure.
And he loves that. And I think just giving him, that was one of the things of when I told him, I was like, hey, you can come down here and do whatever you want. I was like, these are the limitations we're working with. Like no hood. We're gonna have to do induction. We're gonna have a couple restraints just of like what we can do. Right. I was like, stylistically, I was like, I don't care. I was like, cocktails are going to take a back seat. You're going to cook, do whatever you want. I was like, don't care. Make whatever you want to do. And so that's what they've just been doing. And it's cool having Ivan too, because he cooks, he's creative, he does that. So they just come up with dishes together. They have their own, what do you call it? Like event company. So they do big weddings,
like catering
stuff.
Like that,
but they'll bring like they cook it all live. Too, so they'll bring their grills out there for your wedding and do 150, 200 person events like that, multiple courses and whatnot. So they both are in that. So it's really cool having them be able to be here and just
work really well
together.
Like
that.
So Pretty Penny, the centerpiece is the food then.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. 100%.
And then drinks, like you have some cocktails and beer and wine and stuff.
Big wine list.
The wine list is really fun. Ivan and I have been working on that.
Nice.
Just trying to sell cool stuff at, not a ridiculous markup. It's like we didn't make the wine. So, like at the end of the day is I want people to enjoy stuff that works with the food and, try things that maybe they don't have access to normally, or like a lot of bars or restaurants down here don't have crazy wine lists.
Sure.
So just doing fun stuff there. We do the caviar at cost. Same thing. It's like, you're not going to fill up on a tin of caviar. So like, why not try it?
It's like, I don't have to make the money off of caviar. So
right. We'll make it on other stuff. So
that was it. Some things might cost a pretty penny, but we'll never nickel and dime you.
Is that the motto?
Some things might cost a pretty penny, but we'll never nickel and dime you.
It's
like I understand even where we are, the demographic down here. It's like it's a mixture of college kids, or like there's affluence around here that live in these neighborhoods, but then you might just be stopping by. Like we didn't want to have to put it at a price point that priced out the neighborhood. Something we have to charge accordingly for stuff, obviously, and the quality of product.
Still really high quality stuff. But
we want it to be, every single thing we do is how affordable can we make this? That's it. Is this the line? Is this the limit of what we can do?
I don't think you'll find a 40-ounce tomahawk ribeye on any menu for $120, which is what is it, 127?
With the accoutrements.
Comes with all the sides, everything.
Comes with like the potatoes and all that.
It's a full set.
We just want to lace everybody up as much as we could.
That's cool,
just
right?
Finding that line.
Sometimes the approach can be like, all right, what can we charge for this? We can charge $200 for this. Hell yeah, let's do that.
We always look.
We probably could. But
we always look at what's the least I can charge for it. That's it.
Like how much we need to make on this? Obviously, it is a business. For sure. That's the part of it. But so
I dig it.
It's fun.
I dig it. Well, let's take another quick break, and then you guys have a tournament coming up. Actually, it's going on already. So let's talk about that.
A real quick reminder, head over to atasteofaz.com and subscribe to our email newsletter. Also, subscribe to A Taste of AZ magazine and get it shipped right to your door. Now let's get back into today's episode.
All right, so you're a big UFC fan, right? Both you guys?
Sam more so. I enjoy watching it, but he knows everybody.
Big fight fan my whole life.
Yeah.
Everything. I've been doing jab training my whole life.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do a cocktail competition that's more in the line of like a tournament style like that.
Okay.
So all the branding kind of piggybacks off of that. All the promotion we're going to be doing.
That's what I first noticed was the
piggyback.
branding. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
that's badass.
Yeah, the fonts and things.
Yeah.
How we're going to do it is going to be like fight posters and things, be able to do behind the scenes embedded series with the contestants and just really give them like a little platform to shine like that. You got to pick your walkout songs, all that. We're going to cut promo videos for all of you, like making it just it's 8 weeks long. So a big, long, really production heavy kind of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what drew me in, right? So we featured you guys, I think last summer. I think it was just Poor Bastards over, and I think it was at Marcy. Was it Marcy Symington?
That sounds familiar.
I believe so. That sounds very. Yep.
One of our writers did the feature on you guys, and we got to proofread the shit out of these things, right? So I'm reading these things so many times, but your guys' story just really drew me. I'm like, dude, and I remember Killer Whale Sex Club from Justin. So I just really dug your guys' story. So I, started following you guys obviously on my personal account, and then a few weeks ago you put that video out and you have this stack of cash. I'm like, oh, dude, like I'm not scrolling past this one. What the hell is this dude talking about? And I watched it and I'm like, dude, this is badass, right? So you're doing it's the Killer
Bartending Championship.
Yeah.
Yep.
10 grand.
10 grand.
Did you have the 10 grand? Was that really 10
Oh
grand?
yeah, I went to the bank. That's why. Yeah, because even when I originally posted it and said the prize, then people were like, is this real? Is that, do you have the money? Like, is that a thing? Like, I don't know. So then the next day I just went to the bank and drew 10 grand and videotaped me withdrawing it. And I was like, $10,000.
The prize.
Go sign up.
You got it through the ATM?
Oh no, I went to the teller. Yeah. I went to the teller, made sure. I called them before to make sure. I was like, hey, just letting you know I'm gonna come in and withdraw 10 grand. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Went in and then they just gave it to me. Then I just videotaped the whole thing so I could show them like, yeah, it's real. Prize money's real.
Yeah.
It's like I want everybody to sign up. We just wanted something. Normally this time of year, there used to be a competition called Bar Brawl, which was like a 8-week competition kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard about it this year recently. It kind of fizzled out once like Eddie left Sanctuary, Bo kind of moved on.
Yeah.
At North Scottsdale. It's just I
haven't seen it in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I haven't heard as much of it. I don't know if it's still existing.
It was a popular
or anything.
Like,
it was a popular one, but
Mm-hmm.
now I think it didn't keep the pace with the industry. So I think they moved in a different direction.
Gotcha.
And so, but in the winter they have Slinger, which is the Arizona Cocktail Weekends competition.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, all right, well, if there's nothing in the summer yet, then I was like, we could do one. I was like, let's host one every Monday night. Do it I like that same kind of tournament style.
Yeah.
So we can do more things and make it way harder versus trying to get it all done in one night or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not just about making like the best drink. It's a way broader spectrum of like, are you the best at what you do?
More well-rounded.
I like that.
So,
and that way too is like there's so many like categories we're going through and things we're having them do that if you're just really good at one thing, that might not be able to pull you through.
Okay.
Right. And
Sure.
you can't just crush the competition by being an expert at one thing.
Yeah.
And so everybody else, you might be bad at this thing, but you might be really good at this. So everybody has a chance in a different playing field. And then seeing people from different backgrounds, different bars, things like that has been really cool.
Yeah.
So excited to see like all these new names and faces that I don't normally see.
Yeah.
And then seeing what they can do, throwing down.
yeah,
So
we
you had like, go ahead.
I would say we had 72 people
Dang,
apply.
Nice. Yeah.
We went through, there's 9 questions for the initial application. We went through each one and just rated answers, blindly, not knowing whose answers were what.
Yeah.
Rated them and picked the top 32. And then we just got finished up all the tryouts over the weekend.
Yep.
So the in-person
Top
tryouts.
16.
And we narrowed it down to the top 16.
Okay.
So it was like 6 rounds and again, everything on a point system. So I tallied everything up and it was like, all right, this is our list. So
Yeah.
And when you say you guys are doing trivia, you're like, what I thought was really cool is like, even like cost,
Mhm.
right? Like how do you know how much you can
We're
explain
doing,
it better.
like there was around just for tryouts too, whether for like pour costing of ingredients and this, like, can you figure out how much this cocktail is worth and what the pour cost is against the menu price in the menu? These things, I think there's a weird like dissonance between how a business runs and what the staff is actually doing, where nobody's ever really told, like, this is what stuff costs. This is how much rent is. This is, it's like a secret, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would rather more people learn and understand what they're selling, what this is, how valuable these things are,
the impact on the business.
And then you just learn more then too. You're not just like, you're learning other things besides this one thing, which I think is really cool. So when if you have interest in doing other stuff, you want to manage, you want to own something, it's like, cool, you can start here instead of trying to start when you try to open something. It's like, you can learn more along the way. I think people are far more capable than just bartending and making cocktails. Right. You can know more about the ins and outs of all of it. So those are the things that we're trying to do too, is incorporate other levels in there. And then like the trivia too is like, a lot of it's based on the current industry and not as much like historical stuff of like who invented this cocktail.
Yeah.
It's more
who are the trendsetters right now?
Who are the top players in the world? Yeah. What are they doing? Who won this? Who is most influential? Who are these people that have been making like at the top of this thing? So if you want to move up and do that, it's like, these are people that you should look up to, or you should seek advice from.
Yeah.
And I think one thing cool about the industry is a lot of people are very accessible on Instagram too. Yeah. So even those people that you see winning awards, bars winning awards, doing that, you can just message them. Most of them talk to you.
Yeah.
And most of them tell you stuff and do anything. They're just like, what do you need to know? Here
Some
you go.
have books. I mean, like, all the information is so accessible.
Giving recipes out, things like that. When Dandelion won best bar in the world, I emailed them because they had a recipe, and I was like, that looks crazy. I was like, how'd you guys do that? And they just sent me the recipe.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's really cool. We talked about that when we met up a few weeks ago, was like how things have changed, where it used to be like, you keep all your secrets, you keep all your network, like but now it's a thing where like sharing it. Yeah. That's the real value. Yeah. Like you're providing value by sharing that stuff.
That's what we like to do, I think, is any idea we have or anything we know or have learned, we'll just put it out there. Yeah. To see what other people think, what other people are doing. How do you take this?
Yeah. How do you expand on it?
Yeah. Do you have a difference of opinion in something? And then it's like, oh, cool. Maybe I can learn something new. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe we're going this way. Like, what ideas do we have?
Maybe there's an easier way to do it, better way to do it. You know?
Yeah. That's what I love finding out. If somebody finds a better way to do something, you'll be like, oh, cool. This is much nicer.
Like, shit, I've been doing it this way this whole time. Yeah. What the hell?
And it's even just like talking and chatting, like, oh, where things come from, who's using what farms, where are these ingredients coming from, what ingredients are you guys using?
Yeah.
Like things like that are cool. And I think the biggest goal, even with this competition now, is just like, it's like, it was open to everybody in Arizona, like every bartender in Arizona, and cool to see all the different bars and people. It was like, because that's our big goal, is to really just make the community in the industry as cohesive as possible. Where it's like, we can all like work together to do something cool and all support each other
for sure,
and everything, shout each other out. Like the whole city does better if everyone does better.
100%.
If everybody, if the more bars that open up, the more of a hot spot it becomes. Right. Like the more accolades people get, the better everybody else does. The more eyes it draws here.
For sure.
And so we like doing that, and I think that's the biggest goal, is getting everybody together. And then even when the people are competing, right, their friends are going to show up, their people they work with are going to show up, having them together, hanging out, talking. It's just really cohesive environment. That's what we're looking for.
Well, I think, you look at all the big cities, and Phoenix is growing so fast. And, overall, I would say Phoenix is a little bit behind in the food and beverage scene compared to big cities.
Yep.
But like the best way to grow that is through community. Yeah. So this is definitely, part of that, hopefully.
Yeah. Community, communication.
Yeah.
Just, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Like,
for sure.
Things like that. Bringing everybody together.
Yeah.
So everyone levels up together,
Yep.
So
I dig it. So, all right. So, as a consumer, like if someone's listening to this, like how can they come enjoy this tournament?
So starting July 15th, every Monday night until September 2nd, it'll be at Killer. I believe 8 o'clock. We're most likely going to start at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
8 o'clock to 2. We'll have
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah. Because when you said that,
don't come at 8 in the morning. My bedtime. Yeah. We're going to bring Pretty Penny's going to bring the grill out there. So we'll be cooking in the front yard. Everybody's allowed to come. There's no cover charge or anything like that. Just show up. We obviously have a max capacity there. So we'll do overflow into the front yard for those. We're going to try to figure out a way to live stream it to the front yard.
Okay.
Like that.
Some sort of screen.
Or their buddies coming and filming and stuff. We just want everybody to show up every Monday night starting July 15th. Come through. We're going to be serving drinks.
Yeah, we'll be serving food. Our our full menu at Killer, our cocktail menu, whatever beer and wine we have, and then you can just watch, hang out, see what's going on, and also just enjoy what we're serving as well. So
yeah, I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it. You guys are doing awesome shit.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just real quick before we wrap it up, what's the future look like for Poor Bastards? Like, I mean, you guys opened 4 spots in 4 years, right? Pretty much. So what's the next 4 years look like? Like, what's the vision?
Doing 20 killer whales all over the world.
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
the plan.
Nice.
that's the big goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to take Killer Whale and just take it to all the places that we like to go.
Okay.
Yeah. All the cool cities, the fun cities.
Mhm.
We're gonna do one there.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Why
All
Killer
over
Whale?
it.
Like, what of the concepts that you guys have? Why Killer Whale?
I think it's just very brandable.
Okay.
Right. Very brandable. It's a unique concept. I think it probably has the broadest demographic in any kind of
I think it would
big
work well
city. I
in
think it would work.
most
Yeah.
places.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just a fun time that most
Yeah.
places would like to have.
Yeah.
Like our friends that come in that own bars all over the world, when they come through, they've been there, they go like, oh my God, you should absolutely do this here. And
Yeah.
we even see, everywhere we travel when we're there, it's like, oh, we could definitely put one.
Yeah.
Like this would work.
Yeah.
Here. This would work here. This
Yeah.
would work here.
And then operationally, I think it's probably the most straightforward.
Okay.
That most
Obviously,
streamlined.
Yeah, it's most functional
No
in
food
terms of
is the easiest.
renting,
Sure.
being able to repeat
Yeah.
it. So
Yep.
So I think this idea of the wrapped Prius is getting better and better
That's what I'm saying.
as worldwide domination.
That's going to have to be the tour.
sick.
Let's just get a giant RV and make it a killer whale and then drive around America doing that promoting.
Towing the Prius.
Towing
That's
the
also
Prius.
a baby killer whale.
Yeah. Like chasing it. Like it's chasing it. Yeah.
Have it look like it's giving birth out the
Oh
back
my
of
God.
the RV. I don't know how killer whales give
I
birth.
don't know what that looks like,
but
but
we'll do it. We'll paint it. Paint it on there.
Get some streamers or something. I don't know. I'm sorry. If you guys need any help?
I'm gonna have a
with
weird
Yeah.
Google search history over the next couple of days.
Poor bastards were arrested last night for
Yeah, driving around with whale birthing.
well, guys, keep it up. You guys are doing awesome shit. You're cool people. You're like, like you said, growing the community. Like you guys are a positive drive in this, being such a big city, it's kind of crazy that we are kind of behind on food and beverage a little bit, but I see you guys kind of leading that charge and as we start to see more accolades, Renee just winning, best
Yeah, that's
chef
awesome.
in the Southwest
Yeah.
and shit like that. It's
That's super awesome.
it's coming up,
Yeah.
and
That,
And
the
I see
next,
you guys a
the
big
next
part
thing
of
we
that.
need is a Michelin guide. That's
Yeah.
it. We need
Yeah.
a Michelin guide. Denver just got one. It's like we need a Michelin. My mother asked me, well, she was like, why? What, don't you taxes have to pay for it, this or that? And I was like, yeah, but you have a Michelin guide in your city, you get better food.
yeah,
You get better food, better restaurants. Chefs,
be here.
amazing chefs that are here that want to make a bigger name don't have to leave to New York.
Yep.
Then,
Sure.
right? They
Yeah.
wouldn't have to go to Chicago if they want that star. It's like
Yeah.
let them just cook here at home.
Yeah.
And then give
We
them
just
a star.
we just want to be a part of it. you
Yeah,
know?
that's
So,
it. It's like, if we can do that, like that's what we want.
sure.
Yeah. More eyes on Phoenix.
I dig it. Well, guys, keep up the good work. Thanks for having us in. I know this is the day off for Pretty Penny.
Yep.
Right. You guys are so let's do that real quick. Where do people find you?
Pretty Penny, in.taste.trust, right? In Taste We Trust, our Instagram, or intastewetrust.com.
Okay.
Yep.
504 East Roosevelt, 85004.
it's like 5th Street in Roosevelt.
5th Street in Roosevelt. We're open Wednesday through Sunday at 5 o'clock. Close at 10 on the weekdays, close at 11 on the weekends. And then we'll be opening brunch back up Saturday, Sundays after
Okay.
summer.
Once it's not 1,000 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a little bit of time. For
And if
that.
you find this corner, you find all of our other stuff.
Yeah.
We're all on the same street. You can throw
Yeah.
a baseball into it all.
Yep. Yeah. Killer Whale, Disco Dragon, FYPM, all open 7 days a week.
Okay.
So 6 or 7 p.m. depending on the day. But
Everything you can find at thosepoorbastards.com, POUR, or our main Instagram account is thosepoorbastards, POUR.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for having us in.
thank you for having us.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.